Morning, Book 2. Bill Ruttenberg here with the Ruttenberg Library. Just sitting here on a Saturday morning, and I wanted to do my Friday reads. I know, a little bit off, but better late than never, I always say. Wanted to do this video last night, but just didn't get the opportunity. So this is going to be my first Friday read, so hopefully I do okay. But tell you a little bit about my week. We had a fantastic week. I hope everybody out there had a fantastic week. No major complaints, or nothing out of the ordinary anyway. And I got to start off my last Saturday. I got to start off my weekend with going and watching my daughter Crimson perform at the district or regional, I don't know what they call it, the local speech competition. And her and her partner did some ensemble acting, I think is what her particular category is called. But they just did an awesome job. They did literally a tear-jerking performance and got to advance on to the state competition, and had half the crowd teared up and crying. But that's nothing new. She's been doing that the last few years with her speech performances. But all of the kids from our school did very, very well. We advanced on. Almost all of our groups went on to the state competition, and that says it bodes well for our school. Shows that our speech coach is doing some good stuff, and he's a good guy, and him and his wife do that, and pretty proud of just everything they're able to accomplish. And they always let me ride along on the bus, and so that's nice for me. And I like cheering on all the kids, and so they did a real good job, and I got to spend my Saturday doing that. And my family made a trip to south to the nursing home down south, and we got to visit my wife's grandfather, who's in there. He's been in there the last 6-7 months. I can't remember how long it has been, but he's still sharp as a tack. A great man. I love just talking with him, and I can't speak enough for him. I've become even though he's not my grandpa, I'm very fond of him. It means a lot to me, and so we've been trying to spend a lot of time with him as much as we can. So we got to spend Sunday afternoon and Wednesday night with him, and got to watch some old home family videos, and he's kind of an amazing just example of what a Christian should be. And he was a preacher for all his life. Served in World War II, came back, was in the workforce until he got his education, and then got into preaching, and he's been preaching every day since. And I'm telling you what, he's amazing. He preaches. He's going to be 96 in March, and he is still preaching. He's preaching every Sunday at the nursing home. And I just think that's an amazing testament to his message of Christ. But anyway, so this week, just wanted to let you know a little bit about my reading. It's been a little bit of a roller coaster. I've been reading every morning like I usually do, but there's been a couple mornings where I didn't read anything at all. My wife and my daughter, they get into these television shows and these series, and then we've got to wait till the 2-year-old goes to bed to watch it, because my 2-year-old likes to run around and be loud. So anyway, so we watch them, after like 9:30, and I'll be honest, I'm a typical guy. I'm falling asleep at that point, and but I try to stay up with them. That's kind of a family thing we do, and we've been watching the Gilmore Girls. That's the one they like, so we've been watching that one. And anytime I'm staying up late, I struggle in the mornings, just like anybody. I struggle to get up on time as usual, and so I've had a couple for me late mornings, and I've only had about a half hour, 45 minutes, and so I haven't been able to really get into my readings. And so I've been, but on the flip side of that, I've been watching a lot of your guys' YouTube videos, and I'll talk about those later. Some of the channels I've been watching, I thoroughly enjoy listening to everybody talk about books. I just love it. But anyway, my reading for this week, so I'll start out on Saturday. When you go to those speech tournaments, sometimes there's some downtime, in between the different kids doing their projects. And so I took with me the book, the John Grisham novel Bleachers. It's a uh, really short book. You notice it's nothing to brag about as far as thickness of the book, but it is an excellent little story. It's a very quick read, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. I've read it a few other times, but I just wanted something that was a enjoyable, quick read while I was sitting waiting. And so I started that one on Saturday and got a good way through the book and finished it up on Sunday. And so I added that to my reading list. Again, I've read it a few times, but that's okay. It's kind of like an old western, you know. Sometimes you just like to watch them over and over, or read them over and over again. Um, so then Sunday, when I had a little downtime, it was a little bit of quiet time after, but before we went and saw, or no, it had been after we went and saw my wife's grandpa. I started the book, The Client, which I've read before, but again, it's just a quick fiction book, and I enjoy it, by John Grisham. There's a younger picture of him. um, didn't get very far, probably 10 pages in, and I had to put the book down for whatever reason. Got distracted, so I didn't get very far. But I'll be reading this in the coming week. 2 weeks. I just read little bits and pieces when I'm reading fiction, just as I get time. And then during the week, a couple days ago, at school, we had some downtime at school, and so I had opened up in my free reading time there at school. I had a paperback version of John Grisham's The Rainmaker. Excellent book. Again, I've read it. I've read all of his books probably 3 or 4 times, and maybe 5 times in some cases. But another excellent book. Guess I didn't tell you much about the books. Let me go back. The Bleachers is about a old football coach in this small town who has been coaching for like 34 years, and he ends up on his deathbed, and he's dying. The funeral's getting ready to come, and all his players are coming home to honor him. And there's some controversy over whether you like him or hate him, and he was a pretty rough coach, but at the same time a very loving man. So you get the different perspectives of the different players who are coming back and their viewpoints on him, and so a good hometown story. And of course, The Client's about a murder, or not a murder, excuse me, a suicide. It's about a man who commits suicide, and these kids are witness to it, and they got some older people chasing them, and it's kind of a thriller. It kind of fast paced. Once you get into it, it gets to be fast paced, and good book. And then The Rainmaker's about a lawyer who is at the end of college, and he is getting ready to graduate, trying to figure out what he's going to do with himself. He's in a law class that they go to, not nursing homes, but just facilities for older people, and they're offering free legal advice as part of the class. And he ends up picking up a case, and the whole story is about how that case comes to be, and how he the cynicism that he was starting to get. I don't know if you'd say it gets stronger, but he's more empathetic for the people that he is getting ready to be a lawyer for, getting ready to serve. Good story. So let's see here. So that was my fiction reading. My nonfiction reading throughout the week, I got a good chunk of my Washington's Secret War. It's a story about Valley Forge, and I read a good chunk of it this week, probably at least a third of the book, and I've gotten to where right at this moment I've got 1 chapter left. And so, my hope is to maybe do a book review on this and upload that here, hopefully this weekend, maybe Monday, Tuesday-ish, but soon, very soon. it's a great book. It's not been what I was expecting, as I'll talk about in the book review, but that doesn't mean that it was bad. It just wasn't what I was expecting. Something that I probably could have figured out if I'd have done a little bit more studying before I bought the book, reading up on the book. But that's okay. There's always nice, pleasant surprises. So that's been my morning reads, and so that takes us. Let's see. It takes us to my plans for the week, and so my plans for the week are. Well, I'm just trying to figure out what to start next. I had on my reading book list, I had The Return of George Washington. I'd thought about reading that, but I'll be honest, I've read 3 straight books on Washington, and I think I might have to take a break on Washington and come back to him. I don't know. I don't want to burn myself out. And then I had a couple of the Lincoln books that I'd talked about, and these were on my list of things to read, and I just realized I grabbed the wrong copy, but I needed volume 1 from this series, but the Sidney Blumenthal books, but that's okay. I was thinking about starting volume 1 in that series, or doing James McPherson's Tried by War. So those were 2 options, and then I was also debating on, I got two books that are real small, and sometimes I read those, like if I get smaller ones, I'll read 2 of them at the same time. I'll read one chapter in one and then flip over to the other one in the mornings. And so I'm getting ready to teach some stuff in my world history class. And so I got this book by Jeremy Black, The New History of England. And it looks like it would be it's kind of an overview of the history of England. It's not real big. And I think it'll be a quick read, and I'm needing to work on my world history, and as I'm teaching this, it's one of my newer classes I picked up, and so I just need to, keep educating myself. So that was one, and then I was going to read another one from my book list, the Russian Revolution, and maybe see if I could get that knocked out here in February. And so those are kind of the ones I was debating on reading. And who knows, maybe I'll pick up something else totally different than that list. But that's my plan. I wanted to. I also want to get a couple videos up this weekend or in the coming days. I had that book review, and then I found that Lukash's book tag on the top 10 nonfiction books that I like, and I've had that ready for like 2 weeks, and I haven't gotten it done yet. So I have like my list of books, and I have it all sorted out. I just have to make the video. So you might see that a little bit later today. That's the plans. I also hope to start corresponding with some of you that have left messages on my videos. I have not done that yet. Some of that's just a confidence issue on my side. So I hope to start that process and maybe get back to anybody that's left a message. And then I wanted to give a shout out. I told you I wanted to give a shout out to other YouTubers out there that I thoroughly enjoy when I've got time to watch some videos. And some of them on my list was, of course, the ever famous Steve Donahue. I think all the nonfiction people listen to him and what he has to say about reading. Always very enjoyable. I have been really enjoying Todd's Bursting Bookshelf. I had watched some of his shelf tours, and when he gets into his nonfiction with the American history, I really love the books he talked about in one of his videos, similar to my taste in books. I love listening to Peg at the History Shelf. She's been one of my favorites. Of course, old Johnny Keene. He's been a favorite. Richardson's Reads. And then, I don't know about you guys, but when I watch these BookTube videos, tell me what you think. You watch, obviously, the people that you like and agree with and that kind of stuff. But is there anybody out there that listens to videos and maybe like the other day I found one on poetry, and I can't remember the gentleman's name that has the poetry channel, but I don't read poetry at all. But he was doing his nonfiction tag, and he did an excellent job on his nonfiction tag. I don't read any of those type of books. That's okay. That's his opinion, and I've got mine. Not that they were bad. I just don't read those type. But his voice and the way he comes across as having just a great personality. Do you guys watch people's videos just simply because of the calming, soothing sound of their voice? I know that really sounds weird, but just a question for you. And maybe just because they got a great personality. I've got a couple of them that I watch for that, and just for those very reasons. And I didn't know if anybody else does that. So let me know what you think. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, please like it. Feel free to subscribe and share with others. Until next time, have a great day. Bye.